Okay, it says you have some images in some sacred places, and with HDR, I'm assuming you always have a tripod. Do you get specific permissions to work in certain places, or have you always been able to get anywhere you want to go and get the images you want? Um, well, I get special permission maybe half the time. Most of the time, I don't. I just kind of blow into a place and make myself at home before they figure out what's going on, and that works out pretty well. Uh, at least until I get caught. But usually, by the time I get caught, I've already gotten all the images I need. Like at Grand Central Station, I didn't get special permission, but I did like a star formation where I would take a picture in one spot and then fold up my tripod as soon as security came over, and they assumed I was leaving. But then I would go to the other side and take pictures and then fold up as soon as security came along. And I kept doing this because there were different security teams and they weren't communicating with each other. But by the time they did start communicating with each other, they figured out what I was up to, and I had all the pictures I wanted anyway, and I left. By the time they told me to leave. Um, Other times I do get special permission, in places that, like maybe like a religious temple or someplace that's really, um, I don't like do breaking and entering to do these shots. So sometimes you do have to have special permission. In fact, there's a very special place here in China called the Temple of Heaven in Beijing, and they haven't let a photographer in there in 12 years. Actually, no one is really allowed in except for the emperor. And so they've seen some of my photos so far in Beijing and invited me to go in. So I think tomorrow I go talk at Google in Beijing, and the next day I get to go inside the Temple of Heaven to take a photo. So I'm excited about that. Okay, question 9. How do you determine when to include people in your images? It seems like there's a good balance between empty places and images with movement and life in your work. Do you pre-visualize whether people in your image should be solid or ghostly when you're shooting? How do you accommodate for that in HDR image? So, yeah, I do like to include people in my images. I think I think it's important to do that when the people are sort of part of the scenery. When they add to the image, they don't take away from it, I'll leave it. Sometimes I don't like having tourists in there because tourists kind of suck away, from the je ne sais quoi. Like at the Louvre, I sometimes I'll just take pictures where there are no tourists, and which is difficult. But you don't want to see some English girl walking by in a Spice Girls T-shirt because I like the photos to be timeless, and that doesn't help in that regard. Okay, question 10. On your website, as well as through Nik Software, you have demonstrated a willingness to share your knowledge and help other photographers with HDR techniques. Have you always been interested in teaching and sharing knowledge? Well, I don't think I've always been interested in teaching. I like it. I think I'm a different kind of teacher. But this idea of sharing my knowledge and why do I do it? Well, it just seems natural to me. I kind of have this boyish enthusiasm for all this photography stuff. And as soon as I do something or figure out something, I like to share it with everybody. Like, this is awesome, check it out. And then inevitably, people always ask me, how do I do it? So I go ahead and jump the gun and explain how I do it because I know that's the next question I'm going to get anyway. So it just comes natural to me, I guess. I don't know. Okay. Question 11. How have Nik software tools helped you in your process? So, I'm known for being an HDR photographer or whatever. People get pigeonholed into things, and that's fine. But I like all kinds of photography, and really what I love is post-processing. And I think some of the more hardcore fans of StuckInCustoms.com know this. And especially people that have seen my tutorials or gotten a DVD or whatever, they know that I use all these tools. And Nik software makes a great suite, no doubt about it. I just use whatever tool is necessary that I think to communicate the feeling that I want to with the image. Sometimes I use one tool, sometimes I use another, and it's frankly kind of fun to have all these tools at my disposal. Question 12, do you have a favorite Nix software tool? I know that you helped out with the HDR, but do you use it in conjunction with anything else? Or have another favorite for your non-HDR images? Yeah, I like Nix Color FX Pro. I think that's a lot of fun. I like, it's really cool to have all those tools available to you, and it's just cool to click through them and watch what happens. I like Silver FX Pro. That thing's great. I really do get a kick out of black and white photography. I don't do a lot of it, but I do some of it. And Silver FX Pro is just a lot of fun. Which I didn't even know that I would like black and white as much as I do until I tried that program. And then, of course, the HDR one is cool and different too. Those are probably the three that I use the most. Question 13, what's it like being part of Team Nick? Well, I guess this question assumes that I'm part of Team Nick, and I didn't really know that. But that's cool, I guess. But maybe I'm the last chosen, and that's like in gym class in grade school when you're the last one chosen. You're always just some sorry son of a gun, just humiliating. But anyway, maybe I'll get a team jersey. I like to be number 8, by the way, if I get a jersey. 14, what's coming up for you in your life? Oh, well, Jesus, I don't know. Obviously, I love adventure. I'm always looking for new adventures. I'm kind of in the middle of an 80-day trip around the world now, and it's been a little bit physically and mentally taxing, but it's also been stimulating in a lot of ways. I have a lot of injuries. I fell down the other day, and actually I fell on my D3S, and it hit me kind of right here in the nearly private man area, and golly, that is sore as heck, and it's getting worse every day. I exploded a lymph node or something, and I hurt my thumb. It doesn't look that bad, but inside it really hurts. That's where I landed on the camera. And luckily, the camera didn't get broken. That's the most important thing. But anyway, after this, I'll probably take it easy for a while and go home and do some post-processing. I'm about to spend a month in New Zealand with my family, so that'll be kind of nice and relaxing and different. And then I've got some huge projects that I'm not really at liberty to talk about now. Where's your favorite place to travel? Why? Question 15. I'm very easygoing generally. I just like seeing new things and having new experiences. I think my favorite is probably Iceland and New Zealand. Those are the two best places for photography. But I'm really having a ball here all over China too. It doesn't matter, does it? No. I mean, any place is good. Even in your own backyard, you can find all kinds of stuff. Question 16. Do you have a preference for a certain type of image? Landscape, architecture, nature, portrait? No, I don't. As long as it's interesting, I like to take a photo of it. Landscapes generally are more interesting. Just sort of at a basic anthropological level. For some reason, it's just relaxing, as sort of a zen-like piece to look at these things. Question 17. Do you have any advice you'd like to share with the readers? Well, I guess my biggest advice is just to experiment and try new things. Don't be afraid to fail. And in fact, you should try to welcome it. There's something in our Western society, I think, well, actually everywhere, that really punishes failure. And I don't know if that's the parents or the school system or whatever, but you're probably a grown-up now, right? And you don't have to apply those same hard standards of failure to yourself. You can be much more forgiving as long as you correct your mistakes and try to do better the next time. And I think as photographers, I do notice that people are afraid to fail. If you just go for it, don't worry about it, and just you just focus on being awesome, everything kind of takes care of itself, I think. Um, anyway, I don't know if that's great advice or not, but these are things I think about. Okay, that's it from me. If you have any questions, just send me a tweet at Trey Ratcliffe, and I'll do my best to answer it. I'm pretty good at answering Twitter questions and whatnot, as long as I have access to it, which I don't here, but I will soon. All right, well, thanks very much, and I hope this was useful to you. Bye.